Hey everybody, it's Commander Killjoy. This is General Rockhound and Worms, and we are the members of Team Sixpack. Today is finally the day, guys. I know it's been a month, and we've been waiting a long time for our AAR, but we're finally doing it. We're going to do it in 2 parts. First, I'm going to do it with Team Wolfdog, and then I'm going to do part 2 with Team Vortex. So before I start anything, guys, first I want to say for anybody that came out for the event, thank you so much. We raised about $3,300,
$3,341.
$3,341, guys, and then we had $300 that was raised from the bake sale. We had $680 that was raised that was donated to the website beforehand, and then we had a bunch of other separate donations, and I think we made another $2,000 from the field. When all said and done, guys, we made a lot of money. We made a big impact on a bunch of kids' lives. So thanks to you guys for doing that. Without you guys, we couldn't have made that happen. So I also wanted to introduce you guys to kind of the concept of how we're going to be doing this. We're not going to be doing this 3 or 4 or 5 times a year. We're going to try shooting for 1 time a year. It looks like I think we're gauging it at not this upcoming June, but the following June. We're going to do another event for St. Jude's. It's going to be Operation Child's Play 2. We managed to also get enough credit where we were able to get t-shirts and stuff for you guys, and we're going to be working on patches as well for the next event that we're going to be setting up with everybody there. But without further ado, guys, we just want to go into pretty much what happened. This is where Worms and General Rockhound are going to take over, and they're going to go over what went down and how everything went down and all that shit, all that jazz. So, who wants to start with?
Right off the bat from the top, we thought we were going to get wrecked.
Yeah. The way the event was set up for people that weren't there, we had 2 separate areas for each team. So we really didn't know how many people they were going to have on their team, but one of the admins, Hollywood, who owns Zulu, was saying that it was looking like that they had more people off the start. So we were kind of worried that we weren't sure how much we were outnumbered by. So that was a huge thing, and it seemed like we had a lot of new guys kind of on our team too. It wasn't really super experienced. It seemed like from what we saw from the pre-sale and stuff, it seemed like a lot of the veterans were going towards Vortex. So we were pretty worried that we were not only outnumbered but outgunned on that one. But I mean, it worked out pretty good. Started out first round before lunch pretty even. It was just a lot of give and take with the territories and stuff. We were getting a lot of the intel that we needed to get. It was going really good. Our team was playing very well. Yeah, we did not as bad as I thought we would, at least.
Actually, we did better than that. By the end of the first half, we had control of most of the field, actually.
That's true. By the time we took a break for lunch, we pretty much owned everything from CQB City back. I think Vortex still had either the UN building and the communications or just the communications.
They just had the communications and maybe half of CQB.
Yeah. And then when we came back from lunch, it was it was kind of just like a slaughter fest. I mean, we...
Well, no, we like I speculated, they hit back strong at first.
Yeah.
But then we were able to gain our footing and push back. And after that, we just maintained control of the field until we had an all-out assault on the castle.
Yeah, and there was a point during the first round that we were worried because Vortex had just captured the drug lab, and if you guys know Zulu, the drug lab is not far from the Alamo, which was our
300
headquarters.
yards.
Yeah. So
not 300 yards, 300 feet.
Yeah, 300 feet. So from where we were, we could see both the mercenaries, which Vortex had control of the most of the game, and the Vortex guys all walking around.
Are you on your phone?
It's actually
video.
It's for this.
And there was a part where we got in a small firefight with the mercenary guys. So that was
them shooting from the drug lab, us shooting from the from the Alamo, and our guns weren't hitting that. All of their guns were hitting hard at the plywood. We weren't sure we were going to be reaching anything. I think my brother, who was using one of our DMR guns or the sniper rifle or something, was able to almost hit them or basically hit them. I don't know if he tagged anybody.
I think we got 1 or 2 guys out, and then they pretty much just
they were whatever. And they got bored and left.
Yeah, that was the thing about
their mission was to capture the drug lab. They captured it and they left.
Exactly.
They didn't do anything else with it.
Did their role perfectly because they were not on anybody's team. They got bored. Yeah. They shot their allies in the back. They didn't care. That was like what we really wanted the mercenaries for, is to just shake things up. Because every event we've been to, there's been like a juggernaut that like one team gets it and then they like steamroll over everything.
And we hate juggernauts.
Yeah,
like, just to make
at least the juggernaut that was at the last event that we did.
Which was that? I probably shouldn't say. But we were at another event where there was juggernauts, and we actually had the problem that I hate with the juggernaut, and this is me personally, is you'll have whole setups of teams moving into position for an all-out offensive, and it's usually on both sides. And then all of a sudden, you just have a juggernaut or two guys that just rolls over everybody. And if the guys don't have the adequate supplies like grenades or whatever the case is, they're all dead.
What happened to us? The only thing that could kill them were grenades, and it was more of a stun. They really didn't die.
35 guys, 2 juggernauts. We all died.
And we were shooting at them. Yes. We were hitting them. Hitting them just slows them down.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's why the mercenaries were like, it was a much better dynamic because. I mean, yes, they were like an advantage, but they weren't to the point where it was like, oh well.
It wasn't overkill because they could die just as easily as any of the other players. The advantage they had was that they were more experienced.
Right, that's true.
And they were well equipped. We basically took the best guys that were available.
Yeah.
And instead of letting them go on any team, we were like, you want to be a mercenary and just go around and kill everyone? And they said, sure.
Yeah, and that was probably the best thing because that's a huge shout out to Moore and Limey and his son and Frenchie and Mom. And my cousin Johnny, he's new to airsoft, but he's a lieutenant in 1st Cav, so he knew his stuff. And they just all went out and they had a blast. And they kept coming up to me saying, "We want to do this again."
Yeah.
And I think they played their role very well. Like Moore
had fun with it.
Yeah,
they had fun.
Yeah, they had fun with it. Like Moore kept telling me how he was just rolling on the ground laughing because people were coming up to him being, "We have money, we have money, we have money," and like trying to buy each other while they're getting shot at from the other side. And it was a really good experience to see with that. And if I can interject on Vortex's part, seeing kind of being the admin and going all over the field and seeing everything, the biggest problem that I saw with the Vortex team, which you guys definitely like trumped on, was the fact that they were about 5-10 feet from a satellite tower. And we were speculating, and we believe that the problem was that the radios were interfering with the satellite, with the signals.
Oh,
it was messing up.
Satellite?
There's a long tower.
There's an actual cell tower next to where Vortex's main headquarters was.
Oh.
So we think that makes sense because Mills and Schuler couldn't communicate.
Because even I personally, I'd be probably maybe like 30, 40 feet from the castle, and I still couldn't get in touch with him, like no matter how close I was getting to him. And their whole communication network was destroyed because I was walking later, especially towards the end of the first half, I was seeing you guys just taking key locations, but I was seeing tan guys everywhere. They were all over the place. They just had no communication, so they didn't know what to do. So they were all just getting like.
We were structured. Honestly, though, I think you kind of can say maybe not because Mills knew what we were doing. Like he was listening in our comms.
He was listening on. Yeah, he was listening to our comms.
When we used the Davy Crockett on the castle, he knew that was coming, and he left and was 40 feet behind the castle in the woods.
Yeah, and he knew when we were going to nuke because when we went to fire the nuke, he said that he told all of his guys, all right, they're nuking the UN. Everybody pull out.
Yeah,
that's why all of a sudden the heavily contested UN. Just became deserted because Mills pulled them back. I thought our guys just killed them all, and they were holding it and they were getting attacked.
When in reality, it wasn't even that great of a command decision on Mills' part because then once we had the UN, and obviously we cleared our guys out when we nuked it, and then we had basically a whole firing line that just contained them to the communications tower and their base.
Well, that's the reason why I decided to nuke the UN because they kept on fighting us over for it, and they were doing pretty well because they kept on fighting us for it.
We lost the UN a couple times.
Story? You got to tell them about how the nuke got there.
Oh my God! Okay, everybody, you're gonna love this. So I had one of my best friends, Tony. His call sign was Beaner. He's Hispanic like myself. You can't say it. I can.
I know.
And my brother, whose call sign is Monkey. He's our tactical trunk monkey.
We'll go into that later.
I decided that because Mills was most likely listening in, because at this point in time during the first half of the game, they had controlled the cell tower almost the entire time.
The communication
tower, whatever.
Well, the second half, that's right. I gave him my radio. I gave him your radio. He might have done a little bit better with that because his radios were having trouble the whole time. And I could hear you guys the whole game.
Well, yeah, I know.
No matter where I was.
No. The problem was the ref gave him the radio instead of having.
But that died. That died.
No. Mills told me himself when his guys captured the comm tower, the ref gave Mills the radio
ref
in the
didn't
comm
know what to do,
tower.
so he gave him the radio.
The ref didn't.
That was a problem on our part. That was something.
Yeah, the reason he didn't give it to me is because I was like 200 yards away. And
yeah.
He didn't feel like walking all that.
Yeah.
Through 3 feet of snow.
Yeah.
So instead of it was supposed to work, the dynamic was supposed to be if you were in the comm tower and your team took it for like 15 minutes, you're supposed to be able to scan the radios yourself.
Yeah, but you had to have a guy there listening to the radios. You couldn't take it, but that
which is what my team was doing. They were there listening to the radios, and they didn't hear anything useful. They just told me that everybody was fighting.
Oh yeah, everyone
they were
was
irritated that we nuked the. They hated that you killed everybody in the
UN. With the bomb.
Yeah, again, God will no longer interfere.
But no more divine intervention.
But the other thing too with that is that the other problem was he left. That was the issue. The guy who was at the comm site, he had to go to another job. Yeah. So since there was nobody else to manage the radio, he just gave it to Rick's team, and he left, which was obviously was something that I didn't even know about. And then all of a sudden. And then all of a sudden I found out when I finally went there at the very end of the game what was going on. And then I was like, so that was something else that we're going to critique because there's a lot of stuff that we're still going to
use. Well, anyway, back to the story. So we got a tactical nuke. We were holding it in our base, and I was just holding on to it to, I wanted to wait for the right moment to strike with it. So we decided, all right, we had a guy that went into the comm towers and his team. They did a great job. You guys did a great job holding that spot because they were getting hammered left and right, constantly calling for backup that never came.
Right.
Because everybody was getting assaulted at the oil rig or at CQB City. Our numbers were stretched thin, and to get through from the oil rig, where most of our guys were, all the way to the comm tower, where there was a huge fight in the middle, but for the mercenaries that were at the helicopter. Impossible for them to get through without getting wrecked.
Yeah.
So I had one guy who had a battery issue or something that was just chilling at the base, and I pulled him and I said, "You're on my security detail now."
Yeah.
I gave him one of my guns and said, "You got a new job, buddy." Shout out to him. I forgot his name.
But you guys were really cool with that because whatever job we gave you, you guys had a blast with it.
I had runners running back and forth with
and
intel.
You guys were so cool with
awesome.
that.
You guys were great. Cool. I felt terrible having these guys run
in 3 feet of snow.
And then like call on the radio and say, "Wait, come back."
Yeah. But I mean, they liked it, so I mean, I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, so ADD aside, I wanted to give him the nuke. He was actually from he was from the team where the comm site was. He was in that squad.
All right.
So, he was originally running intel to me, and I held him back because I wanted to give him a specific mission. I wanted to give him the nuke so that he could run it back and nuke the comm site. Problem was, right as he got there, the comm site came under heavy fire because it's right 300 feet from the castle. So. Yeah. They were just getting hammered left and right, and I didn't want to risk losing the nuke.
Yeah.
So I decided to hold on to it, and when I finally had the okay to send the nuke, that's when Rick knew the entire time. So he actually what I thought was pure dumb luck. He actually ran a counter assault. The second I said run it, he had a bunch of guys from the helicopter. Attack the drug lab.
Yeah, because that's what we were going to nuke was the drug
lab.
No,
we weren't going to nuke the drug lab. We were going to nuke the comm site. They were going to go through the drug lab.
They were going to go through the drug lab.
They were going to go through the UN and then the drug lab. They got stopped at the
drug lab.
No, I think they got stopped at the UN.
No, they got stopped at the drug lab because Tony showed me where he buried it.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So this is the hilarious part. What he didn't know is I entrusted the nuke not to anybody. I gave it specifically to my brother and Boehner.
Yeah.
So they're the one, and they're sneaky. This is why I trusted them, because I knew they would get the job done one way or another. They get attacked, and at some point, they knew they were gonna die. I think my brother got hit. He went down.
No,
and then
Tony got hit first.
No, it was my brother who got. No, yeah, you're right.
Tony got hit first. Your brother healed him, and then your brother got hit.
Because my brother was the medic. Then Tony got hit again.
Yeah.
And then my brother was gonna. They were coming in. There was like about 4 or 5 guys that were just gonna storm the drug lab. So they buried. They really quick. They threw it into the snow
and buried
lied
it.
down on top of it and quickly buried it and then just like sat there pretended to be dead. And nobody they buried it in a place where everybody was walking, so the snow was already patted down, so it didn't look out of place.
Yeah,
it was brilliant.
Yeah, I know.
And then nobody noticed. I'm assuming they were looking for the nuke because Mills knew we had a nuke.
Yeah. They probably were.
They probably looked for it and everything, and all they did was pat down the snow even more.
Exactly.
So then
we'll address that in part 2.
My brother and Tony come back. They respawned and everything. And then an hour or 2 later, when we took back the drug lab, I sent them back to get the nuke and then come back.
No, that
was the second half in the game. The first half was when they buried it.
No, he brought back the nuke. The first.
No, he didn't. He came back without it because he had.
That's right. And then when we went to go get lunch, I think before we went to go get lunch, I think that's when he took it out and then he buried, because I remember it was buried in the snow.
It was buried in the snow. No, it was buried in the snow, but we took it back in game. We reconquered the drug lab. And then I specifically sent them on a mission to go retrieve the nuke.
But I think this was before we broke for lunch.
No, we retrieved the nuke after lunch, and then that's when we recovered a second nuke.
Right.
Which we never used. Yeah. And we had a huge fight over that.
Yeah.
More divine intervention.
Yeah. Which again, there's a lot of stuff, guys. Like when we were going over this, I know we kind of did a little AR afterwards. For the next event, we're going to do the same exact thing. We'll probably do time limit like 10 minutes, and you guys just pull on the back of my leg and say we got to stop. But for this video, if there's anything that anybody wanted to say during that, or anything that anybody wanted to talk about, or think that we should have implemented or added, please make sure you put it in the comment section. Mm-hmm. Please do that, because I'm telling you right now, as somebody who was like going up to his teammates and asking them to get involved with this and everything, I can't seriously look at you, the players that came to this, ask you to spend money on this and not take your criticism, right? Because the whole point of this is to make it better.
And we've already when we did that little index thing at the event, we took that criticism and now we're gonna apply that to our next event.
Yeah, like the patches, we were gonna do patches. That was a good idea. And then we're trying to redo the medic thing somehow.
I know
but the medic system worked. It just was unfair for some guys. There was miscommunication with some units.
Yeah, like one of my units didn't get any medic tags, and that was in part my fault because I assumed that. I thought he was, for some reason, I thought you were going to take the medic tags up, and then...
We didn't, though. We left
we left it all at headquarters.
Yeah.
So I thought
at the spawn...
Yeah, and I told him to go see you for medic tags or something, but I think there was a miscommunication, or what I thought I said was miscommunicated, and so he just... I don't know, it was just like a huge, snafu, which is,
happens.
Usual.
It happens, yeah.
And that's the main thing, because a bunch of you guys were coming up to us and talking to us when we were at the flea market, saying like, hey, when are you guys going to do the next one? When are you guys going to do the next one? The reason why we're not going to try cranking another one out this year is it took a lot of time and energy.
We crammed it.
We crammed it in 3 months, and that was a problem because besides the fact that we didn't get to really take a lot of different knowledge from other places as well, we were really short on time.
And there was a lot of things that we wanted to do that we couldn't implement because we didn't have the time to do it. And
like the what you call the grenade.
Yeah, we got Reaper grenades. We bought VTG grenades for this.
The tagging
grenades, the Reaper tagging grenades. Either they didn't show up or something broke and we didn't have the time to fix it. So all kinds of stuff like that. So
I mentioned to Mike literally 5 days before the event, we were scrambling to get all the intel written out. And laminated and all that, and I'm like, I just kept saying to him, I wish we had more time because there was just so much we could have done if we had more time, and that's why we decided to wait a year, so that way.
Yeah, we're gonna do it in the summer, so there's no more
snow.
No more snow. Even though you guys, I gotta say, you guys were champs.
Hopefully, we don't replace it with 3 feet of mud, though.
I know for a fact.
Mud's almost as bad as the snow.
I was there. We were there 8 or 7. We were there before everybody else showed up, and my feet were drenched from the moment I got there.
Him and I had to run out and set up some last minute booby traps,
which we're gonna fix next time. You guys aren't gonna see them coming, so that's something I'm gonna tell
I think
you guys.
Everybody saw those booby traps coming.
Yeah, the biggest.
But we only had the only reason why they were so obvious is because we only had literally 10 minutes before the game started. Before we
Although it was really cool that they were actually able to defuse them.
Well, that was the thing. Yeah,
that was cool.
We wanted to make it like that.
Because if it's just like a cheap, like, we open up a box and then we all die, that's kind of like irritating. But if you kind of like, if you're not paying attention, and if it's obvious and you're not paying attention, that's your fault.
It was also kind of their fault too, because like the owners of the field, like I love Marriott Hollywood, but one of the guys was like sitting on top of where the box was and just sitting there with the camera waiting, and guys were looking at him like, what are you waiting for? And all of a sudden they saw the string and they're like, oh, and they knew. So what we're gonna do next time is
hidden camera.
Hidden camera. The biggest thing that stunk was also there was a lack, and this was on my part, not my teammates' part, this was my part. There was a lack of miscommunication working with all of my teammates.
A lack of communication.
There was a lack of communication.
There was a lack of communication, yeah. So basically, like, we weren't all on the same page.
That's true.
And I tried to balance everything out, because I thought that if there were certain people on the Commanders team that were on the same page, but if the Commanders were on the same page, that'd be more fun for you guys, because not everybody knew what was going on. And I didn't want it to be just like a playbook.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be because if the Commanders were into it, which they were, you guys got a lot more into it, which you did, and it did make sense. But for the next game, we're all going to be there. We're all going to be prepared. We're all going to be there the day before, so everything gets set up. The Commanders are going to set up their own traps.
We did have a specific channel where it was me, him, and Mills on the same channel, so that way we could communicate with each other. But like you said, Mills' radio problems really put a damper on that, because there was a lot of the times where we were like, Mills, calling him, and he couldn't hear us.
Yeah. Next time he's going to get one of our radios.
Yeah. Well, next time he's going to be placed somewhere else, but we're not going to tell you guys where. So we were going to place
part of the story.
It's part of the story. You guys are going to like the story. Rob's been cooking it up. It sounds
now
awesome.
We have a year to work on Intel, so little by little we're already working on it.
And we might even get rid of the Intel idea. So
yeah.
Rob's got some pretty cool ideas that he's been talking about. So that was pretty much it, guys. Unless you guys want to talk about, we got to talk about the final fight. We got to talk about the final battle.
We got to talk about the assault on the Alamo.
Yes.
Oh, this was awesome. All right, so second half of the game, we're just chilling and we're doing our commander thing. And
we're sitting there talking with Red, one of the refs, because he's there for the nuke.
Exactly.
So he had to be there.
So he was there. One of the refs was there, and we're just all
Big Red. Yeah, Big Red. He's the man.
So we're all just chilling, and all of a sudden Tony goes like, "Is that something?" And all of a sudden we hear like a hail of bullets, and like Tony literally grabs Jerry. Because you have to keep in mind, if Jerry dies, he's dead.
Tony was my security guard.
Exactly.
He's actually worked as a security guard, so this is why I made him my head of my security.
And if Jerry dies, that's he's dead for 10 minutes, and our whole communications is gone. So Tony jumps on him like a Secret Service agent, rips him to the ground.
He just like pushed me into a pile of snow, and I'm going, "What the heck is going on?" But the great thing was, he was just like randomly scanning constantly because he was like paranoid.
Yeah.
So he's looking at a guy, and I'm like on the radio. I'm looking at a map, trying to give commands and orders and stuff. And Rob is just kind of like chilling by the table, talking to Big Red, and then we had the other guy. No, my brother was sitting back like with the messing around with the gun, or I don't know what he was doing.
We weren't paying attention to what was
we weren't
going
paying attention. All of a sudden, Tony, and I was standing right in the middle out in the open.
Oh yeah.
All of a sudden, Tony says, "Is that one of our?" No, he's not one of our guys, and he pushes me to the ground as he opens fire.
Yeah.
Because Tony saw him raise his gun to shoot,
yeah.
So he throws me into the snow. I have no idea what's going on, and none of us have guns on us.
Oh yeah, we never. So someone crawled
there was tons of snow.
It was that other guy that you made part of your security.
Yeah,
he was there. He crawls to the table, starts throwing guns to everybody.
Yeah, well, I remember I went to the table and I grabbed my gun. I crawled to the table and I grabbed the gun.
Yeah, someone threw your brother a gun. That's why. And Tony.
Yeah, he had to have been there. I think he got killed first because he was throwing the gun.
And then I got killed. Because there was just like a hail of bullets, and I dropped to the floor, but he had us dead to rights.
Because we only had like 3 feet of plywood that was keeping us from getting shot at while we were laying on the ground. So if you pop your head up, he sees you and he'll shoot you.
It got to the point where we were so desperate we were about to launch an arcade.
Remember that? Brandon was going to launch an arcade. So I'm sitting there on the radio calling
tagging grenades that blows up.
Yeah. I'm sitting there on the radio going, "We need backup, we need backup." We didn't know how many guys were shooting at us.
Yeah, we thought it was like a squad of guys.
All of a sudden, we just heard continuous gunfire. It was just one guy that got bored.
Yeah. No, Mills sent him on the mission.
We talked to him. Yeah. He got bored.
Oh, I thought Mills sent him.
He kind of did. Like Mills was talking to him about it, and then he's like, "I'm bored. I'm just gonna go assassinate." Mills was like, "Okay, go have fun." Oh, and the guy was gone for 45 minutes.
He was gone for an hour.
He talked when he told, because we eventually got him.
When we killed him, he didn't feel like he
was talking to us, and he's like, it literally from from our headquarters at the castle to here took me an hour and 3 minutes. He went around the entire map, around the entire edge of the map where no one ever goes.
Give that guy
through
props.
3 feet of snow and got to us.
Yeah,
and
he
almost
make his
killed
own
us.
trail through the snow. That's right.
Yeah. He got a couple kills.
Yeah, he killed
He
me.
just didn't kill me.
Yeah, he just
didn't kill me,
Jimmy.
and he didn't kill Monkey because
and he didn't kill Tony either.
No, he did kill Tony.
Oh, he did.
He shot Tony, and because I remember he shot Brandon. Tony revived him, and then he shot Tony.
Right.
And Brandon couldn't revive Tony because he didn't have any buddy aid.
Right.
So I was sitting there, and then Brandon tosses me Tony's gun.
Yeah.
And Brandon's there sitting and using his gun. So me and Brandon, I'm laying on the ground shooting through a crack where I saw like a silhouette of the gun.
Yeah.
And I'm just blindly shooting in that direction so that I could keep Brandon cover fire.
Right.
He goes to shoot the tag in. And then the guy calls himself out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was me or Brandon. One of us.
It was probably you that hit him because you were the one that was putting down the sustaining fire on him.
It might have been me. It might have been Monkey. I don't know. Because he was shooting at him too a little bit.
But whatever. That guy was like.
That guy was awesome.
Like super commando. Like
that was awesome. That was the most intense moment of the day.
Oh, it was by far.
Aside from when I launched the nuke.
Oh yeah, that was exciting.
That was exciting because we had 2 nukes. We had to use it.
Oh yeah.
And I knew I was probably not going to be able to get it to the comm tower.
Yeah.
And there was like about 20 minutes left in the game.
Yeah. At that point,
I figured,
there was
you know
about 20
what?
minutes.
They want this. I'm not gonna let them have. If I can't have it, no again. So I blew it up. My 5-year-old inner self was just like, no.
Yeah.
And I nuked it.
And we actually wanted to. We actually wanted to send Tony in with like just the nuke, like the orc at Helm's Deep, with just like the nuke in his arms to run into the castle and blow it up. But he
Chariots of Fire style.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
Oh my god, yeah.
But I think you know what we'll do for the castle. We'll have that from Rick's perspective.
Yeah, we gotta do that
from Rick's perspective.
Well, from what I read in the comments, they love the assault.
Yeah,
like,
everybody
that
loved
wasn't
assault.
planned. Like,
no, it wasn't.
When I was originally talking to these guys, I was like, look, if the game's going bad, we'll just do whatever team was getting wrecked. They'll go fall back to a defensive position, and they got to hold out for as long as they can. If they can break through the assault, then I guess they win or whatever. If they can't, then that's it. And then all of a sudden, it just progressed, and I felt bad because I was the down pilot. So he sent guys over to find me. 2 guys found me.
Yeah, but
they
you're
needed
huge.
6.
They're like
6 people to carry me. So I was like, nah, you're not gonna have enough guys. Then some dude with a cowboy hat.
Oh my god, Cowboy! I love that guy.
Yeah.
Awesome. He was at the flea market.
He was at the flea market. Yeah.
Props to you, dude. That was an awesome game.
And he literally comes over and he's like, "Hey guys, just so you, he's like, are you the pilot?" I was like, "Yeah." But I need at least 6 people to carry me. He's like, "Okay, I'll be right back." And he actually came back in like 5 minutes, brought 5 people, carried me out.
That guy,
and at that point, you guys captured everything.
He was one of our best players.
Yeah.
And I think
all our
he
commanders
was the
were great.
platoon leader.
Oh, no, not our commanders. All of our platoon leaders were awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, just a shout out to all of you guys on my team.
Yeah, you guys really did a great job.
Platoon leaders or squad leaders, you were awesome.
And that's another thing too for shout out guys. The reason why I was on my phone before is I wanted to show you that there's Black Rosa Airsoft. If you guys can see over there, does it look good?
You're gonna have to put it like up against the camera.
screen like that. Is that better?
Well,
there
you go in magic of editing. We'll throw a picture of it up.
Yeah. Anyway,
we can do that too. Yeah.
Oh wait, that's the reason why I was on my stuff. But so Black Rosa Airsoft guys, these guys, this dude was really really cool. He's one of
he was one of my
he's one of your commanders.
Leaders.
If you guys are looking for like a map drawn, because you've seen my videos at this point, I don't have editing skills at all. So if you wanted to see something that's really cool, he actually drew the map and then showed the troop movements being pushed in. He's a good one to look for any of the other action.
He had a lot of good action.
And then if you want to see, I know.
Don't watch my speech. Oh my god, my previous speech was
Ice Pick, who is one of the players on Vortex's team. He's doing a series 2 on this. So Ice Pick Airsoft, I think, from Viper Airsoft. That's it. Those guys did a bunch of videos as well. So if you guys want to check out any cool after action videos, they did a good job. But like I said before, please, okay, if there's anything that you think that we can add. Whether it's more explosives or more objectives or different styles, or because like we were having people telling us stuff like we should have done a nuke flag, which we didn't even think.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
So we should do like
raise a white flag.
A white flag, so you know that the place is dead. So
yeah.
Stuff like that. Like anything that helps, the more you guys tell us, the better it is.
Right.
Yeah. Try to be critical of it. Don't just be like you're
constructive criticism.
Constructive criticism. Don't be like you guys were stupid. Like. That's fantastic.
You can say that yeah, that doesn't help us.
That doesn't help. Like, if you want to make it better, just let us know.
You can call us stupid, but at least give us like a reason why we're stupid, so we can fix it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
All right. That's it, guys. Like always, drop your mags, clear barrels, and we'll see you next time on the field.